Welcome aboard. After years cruising the North Pacific, we are embarking on a journey south to warmer waters. This is our story day by day as we explore Mexico's beautiful Baja coast. Come along and experience daily cruising life as we do.
Good morning, everybody. January 2nd. Happy New Year's here from Ensenada, Mexico. So we really looking for at least a 3-day weather window to get down to Turtle Bay. And it's not really showing up very well. Here we are in Ensenada at the beginning of the Malecon.
Jim is stocking up on limes. We have been working on finessing our margaritas, and so we need lots of good limes for making some yummy margaritas later.
We stopped for lunch at a local restaurant.
Rosie.
Found our tortilla press. We're in the small store. This is the guy right here that we're going to get.
Working the problem here. We're kind of playing around with different ways to make this work, but we're going to try the flour on the board technique since it talked about a, well-floured rolling pin. So, all right, well, here you have it. We have our tortillas that we made. We have the fish that we fried, the guac, the pico, and other good things to go on our tacos, and our margaritas that are kind of mini margaritas because
we don't have enough tequila. Costco. Costco shopping completed. Now we just need to repackage in some bags and get an Uber back to the boat. So we got a bunch of cheeses, a bunch of chicken, some hamburger meat, some pork, some kielbasa, and some beef. And so now we got to process all this, and we're gonna just magically show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, we're done with all our processing. We've got our vacuum sealer on board that we use. Used it a lot in Alaska. So we've got our pork, our hamburger meat, our beef, our dogs, and the chicken from Costco comes already vacuum sealed. We just have to cut it apart in different packages. And our cheese over here.
Okay.
Yes, for you. Okay, first time, please.
We ordered a mushroom appetizer that they cook at your plate, at your table.
Garlic.
Garlic. Next we ordered Caesar salad that they're going to make for us.
Well, that was quite a treat. Are the guys who are doing the pump out for us, and they are pumping out our holding tanks since we've been here a little while.
Captain's bilge, and I am totally in the doghouse here.
It's about 5:10. We've just had the squall or the storm come through. The winds picked up a bit.
While the atmospheric river continues to pound the west coast of the U.S., we get the southern edge remnants of it here in Ensenada while we continue to watch for a weather window. So this is current conditions outside Ensenada, 11.6 foot seas on 13.1 seconds. Right while we continue to wait for weather, the next project is to remark our anchor chain. So we've untied Sea Venture, pulled her forward till the bulbous bow is like inches from hitting the dock. Sometimes touches a little bit, that's okay. That puts our anchor roller over the dock.
I've just started a load of laundry. It looks like I'll have one more to do. I knew I had a bunch of towels down here too, just bath towels. So we have a little bit more to do. In the meantime, we'll let these things finish up. We have absolutely nothing to complain about. This is awesome having a washer dryer on board.
Morning while we wait for our weather window, which is coming. Last night we were woken up by the Sea Venture surging and moving all around the dock a lot. So today there's 13 or so foot seas out in Ensenada Bay yet again.
Not bad. Yeah.
Okay, Rose, what did we buy in that store?
We bought the cutest little dress
For Livy.
for little Livy.
Here in the engine room of Sea Venture, we have 2 tanks on each side, one behind each engine. These are not fuel tanks. These are our water tanks. And like all the tanks aboard Sea Venture, they're integral to the hull. That means the hull on the outside of the boat, below the water line, is the outside of the actual tanks, giving us a double-hulled construction. Each tank has a 24-inch port to get into. There's the starboard side tank, and if I go to the other side of the engine room, the port side tank. Each tank is 600 gallons, giving us 1,200 gallons of freshwater capacity. Sea Venture has a U.S. water maker, which we've been just absolutely delighted with since installing.
We're in front of a cultural center. We're in the rotunda of what we think is the casino. Here's a photograph taken in 1930, and it shows the rotunda that we're standing in right here under construction, and it shows the hotel. Most notably, it shows all of it on the beach.
And pointing out this hotel and building, casino building that we're standing in right now. And look how far we are from the beach now. But a quick recap regarding fuel on Sea Venture. We hold 2,250 gallons. We have about 1,700 gallons on board right now, giving us a 3,700 nautical mile range as we sit here today. To give you that some perspective here from Ensenada, Mexico, we could go to Hawaii or directly to the Panama Canal, or even all the way to Hiva'au in French Polynesia without refueling. So is there a bar, nightclub, tourist street in Ensenada? Heck yes. And you'll see that is the amount of rain today. 1.31 inches aboard Sea Venture today here in Ensenada. And to give you some perspective here, I'll put on the screen what it rained in 2020, 2021, and 2022 each year aboard Sea Venture. You can see the difference between being in Alaska in 2020 and in California and Mexico for 2022. And then look at how much it's rained in the first 15 days of January here in Ensenada. Because I like playing in the galley.
So he's squeezing little limes for margaritas or whatever else we might decide we want the lime juice for.
Oh, this is for margaritas, man. Just getting all prepped. And this is a Solaire, is who makes it. It's an infrared barbecue, not an open flame. We had a little sewing project to do today, so thus dig out the sewing machine and some fabric. And of course, anytime you open a space,
we have one more project to do while we have the sewing machine out. We have one window that does not have a sunscreen, so we're using an old shade to create a new shade.
and from the outside. Completed the gasoline for the tender. Now round 2 of the same concept, except propane. All right, we've arrived at the propane filling station. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It's a little breezy this afternoon, about 12 knots of sustained winds here in the marina. But I showed you the other day the big fenders, the inflatable fenders we have when they were on the side of the Sea Venture for all that surging. That surging's gone now, so we could pull these back in. I thought I'd stand next to one so you could get a sense of the size of these things and show you how they deflate. We just have a little pump. We use the same pump to inflate. And you ready? Here we go. And that's it. All right, the back deck, many of you know we have two tenders, of course, the little guy for beaching and the big guy for just having a whole lot of fun. And the propane tank and gas can project is all done, so there they are, freshly painted. Rosie did a great job with that. I go around in the marina, and one of the questions I wanted to answer that people have asked is, after almost 30 years of active cruising, do I get nervous pulling away from a dock or into a marina or those kind of situations? And the answer is yes, I do. I still get like a little bit of butterflies and nervous about that, but you know, you got to leave the dock. All clear behind. All right, in reverse. All right, all neutral. Switch the cameras back around to the navigation. So you can see that there is actually a swell. It's just hard to ever pick up on camera. See if I can show the rocks there without bouncing the camera around too much.
All right, we have some pitchy seas. So it's definitely time to get the poles out. So Jim's upstairs and waiting for a see if I can show you that. He's just letting the line out, and that is it. So pole number 1 is out. We're in Ensenada Bay, just got the poles down, so now Jim is going to work on deploying the fish. Yeah?
Yeah, we're good. No, we're all good.
Okay.
I look in the camera lens and it looks flat. It's about 2 meter swells, but it's you know, really pretty darn gentle, pretty comfortable, doing just fine. Almost sunset here.
They're coming back to you. There was one right there.
Well, the sun has set tonight, and so we've kind of moved to nighttime mode.
It is a little after 6 p.m. and quite dark out. Already tracking radar targets, trying to keep an eye on what is around us. Well, good evening. It's 10:30. I just got up from a couple-hour rest, and Jim is taking care of the engines. He's down in the engine. Well, he's just coming back from the engine room to give them a little drink and check out things down there. And if he could get out of the way, scooch along. We're getting close to, we're here, and here is the San Quintin potential anchorage. That could have been a possibility, but I think we're just going to continue to bypass it and work our way to, excuse me, Barkley, to Bahia Tortuga. Oh goodness. I thought I'd flip to the FLIR for a moment and show you. Oh my goodness, there's porpoises on the screen. Do you see that? Look at that. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? That I just happened to do it. What I really wanted to show you was that, Barkley, come now, stay over there. That our horizon is pretty level and our water is really good. But oh my goodness, this is pretty cool.
Check this out. 6:15 this morning.
We are, I just figured out, 161 miles down or completed of our route. We have 121 left, so we have about 60% of our journey is done. The other thing I wanted to comment on is that today was nap morning, not Netflix morning. That's what you get when you only sleep a few hours during the night. Barkley is here.
So as we're cruising along this afternoon, Rosie and I are restudying the Mexico boating guide. It's the one most people use here. And Tortuga, via Tortuga or Turtle Bay, and how to enter and where the town is and where to anchor. So we're just reading up everything once again.
Blake and Jim on the back deck, taking a break. It's my turn to keep an eye on things. And Barkley's up and about as well. It's nice to have the cats up and doing things since they've been hiding out their first day, but I think they're getting their sea legs back. So far it's looking pretty good out here. We're looking at the sunset at the end of our second day of our passage. It's a little after 9, time for a check-in. We finally made a course change, and now we're heading toward the east side of Cedros Island. The course change from several hours going this direction to, heading north. It is a little bit lumpier, heading south. It's a little bit lumpier, this leg, and it'll last for about 4.5 or 5 hours.
Can I show you a view of the seas at night? Now, you want to track Sea Venture in real time? Skip all those apps. Go to our website, cruisingseaventure.com. Pretty simple. And there on the home page, you can click on where in the world is Sea Venture right now. When you click on that, it's going to take you to our Garmin InReach tracking page, where our Garmin InReach sends a signal via satellite every 10 minutes around the clock. A quick update in these little bit of feisty weather conditions, sitting here answering YouTube comments and questions, and playing a little bit of video on my phone on Netflix. I thought I would run a Starlink speed test, and look at that, 196 megabyte per second.
Out, the sun is coming up, and we have about 2 hours until our arrival in Bahia Tortuga.
So here's the anchor chain stopper that keeps any pressure from potentially being on our Maxwell windlass. And you can see the anchor chain is just hanging down in the water because all the pressure is being taken by the bridle, which is underwater.
We're coming to you from the fly bridge of Sea Venture, anchored in Bahia Tortuga.
Woo!
We did it!
Right as the sun sets on our first night at anchor in Mexico. Launching the tenders, and so I thought we would just set this camera up and let it run while we do it. We've got the big tender over here on the port side, the little tender. We're going to be launching the little tender today.
Heading off to shore. We're gonna go check things out on land, and you can see we put the fish back in the water, the paravane fish, just because we were bobbing back and forth, and that just actually really softened the roll and made it a little easier. So now we're off.
Check out Turtle Bay. The tender's wheeled up on the beach, and there's a welcome to Bahia Tortugas sign. We found our little restaurant. We got 2 cerveza, and the lady, I think, is making us lunch, and we don't know what, but I think we got beans and rice and flour tortilla and asada meat. I think she's gonna make us some lunch.
All right, we got our food. Check it out.
Waking up to a windy, blustery morning this morning. It was pretty windy overnight. Woke us up a few times, kind of wandered upstairs just to, be reassured all was good, which it was. You can see we have made lots of tracks, but we've stayed in our exact same spot in our anchor alarm circle that I talked about in another video. Wind rise right now, we have a 17 knots with a 10-minute average of 17.2. Well, as we sit here, I'm sitting out in the cockpit with the cats here in Bahia Tortuga, Turtle Bay. It just reminds me how fortunate and lucky that we feel to be stewards of Sea Venture, because you know, once again in these conditions, I saw even 25 knots of wind sitting here at anchor. She is doing a beautiful job taking care of us.
Oh, it is coming out of the water. Look at that. It's about 6 p.m. here in Bahia Tortuga. Howard's Lagoon on the south.
Rosie and Barkley planning our next several days of voyaging together. All right, biscuits are ready to go in the air fryer. 8 minutes a tray. Good morning. It's an early morning. It's not quite sunrise here in Bahia Tortuga. Thursday morning. Okay, this wind is just starting to wear on us a little bit. I think this is going to be day 3. Now the forecast is showing maybe 30, even a gust up to 40 knots in the anchorage today, and winds of 35 and gusting to potentially even 50 on our planned route south. So I don't think we're going anywhere today.
The wind's howling up here. Knot 10-minute average. Now it went us up to 21, now 17. So pretty wild, clearly steady, sustained 20 knots of wind. Keeping us entertained here in the anchorage. It's now 10 a.m. The winds are sustained about 24 or so knots. We'll see how it plays out as the day progresses. Kind of in the lee of the wind right here. We'll walk forward and see how it looks. Wow, look at her. It's pretty intense.
It's just a little after 10:30. Wind is in the high 20s, low 30s. I think we've seen a gust of 35 out the window. Here's the view. Wow, this is wild up here on the bow. So I thought I'd walk you up here. We're sitting right at about between 32 and 35 knots of sustained winds here in the anchorage at Bahia Tortuga. The generator's running. I ducked my head into the engine room and checked the generator, make sure it all looks good, so let's go do that. But we have a 16 kilowatt Northern Lights generator. We have just under 5,000 hours on her, so she's doing great. So I just come down occasionally, open the panel, make sure all looks good.
Jim's pulled the bridle up.
Getting it done. We'll show this
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say we'll show this detailed anchoring and pulling the anchor up in future videos, but we can't do everything the first time, so we'll get there.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you the bay. Look how beautiful it is and how nice and calm it is this morning. Having a hard time capturing these guys. And Jim is captaining the boat. Doesn't he look like he's captaining the boat?
Approaching the anchorage here at Bahia Ascension. After all that dead calm, we've got about 17 knots of wind after we came around the corner here. A variety of you have asked for some specific details when we anchor, and so I'll put those on the screen now for you. One little thing that's a little different, we do not start the engines in the pilot house. I can, but I start the engines in the engine room every day. So let's go down and do that.
All right, here's the side door entrance to the engine room where we head in and climb down a ladder to get to the engine room.
Well, welcome to our engine room again. Our old trusty Ford Lehman engines with approaching, I think we're coming up on 11,000 hours pretty soon. So let's get them fired up and ready to go. Eagle eye this morning for
Lobster pots.
lobster pots. We pulled the paravanes in because one, it's dead calm and we really don't need them, and two, it greatly reduces the risk of snagging something. So we'll run without the lobster pots this morning.
Without the paravanes.
I'm sorry, without the yeah, hopefully we will be running without the lobster pots and without the paravane fish in the water as well for a while. And we'll see if we actually even need them. This fabulous cruise today. There's the rest of our cruise. In this light blue area is, even way out here, there's rocks. So the guidebooks all talk about this extensive danger zone to go around, which, as you can see, our plotted course does. But to give you a sense of how far away from land that danger zone goes, look how far away land is. We can barely see it off in the distance.
Here's an overview of the area. We are at this anchorage here, and about 15 miles south of us is the San Ignacio Lagoon, and this is the site, one of the breeding sites for the resident gray whales who come here to calf and then travel north to Alaska to feed and then back here again. Check it out, the sun is going down over Bahia Abriojos or something like that. There we go. Some fine gentlemen stopped in to say hello. All right, there's that boat that came by to say hello and welcome us to Briojos.
Yeah, that was great. That was great, actually. We don't speak Spanish and they don't speak English, but we're working on our Spanish. But we had a great conversation. They found us on Marine Traffic and YouTube and based on our boat name, so that was all cool. Cooking up some chicken thighs on the barbecue. It's a little chilly up here, but I mean, look at this. Where in the world could you rather want to be?
Amazing. And we have just a very slight breeze from the bow, so we're driving into it. We have the fish not in the water, the paravanes are not in the water. We do leave the poles out because the poles actually slow down the roll a little bit, kind of like a tightrope walker, so that part helps. And makes for a little more comfortable ride. In the meantime, look at this water we're cruising in. It's incredible.
Almost 5 p.m. here. You can see the sea conditions that we're cruising in. One of you guys asked us to do an engine room check on camera, and it's a check that we do about every 6 hours or so. So we're going to go together outside in the side door on the starboard side. Rosie and I will, and we'll film our kind of standard engine room check, see if we can have some fun with it. Blake and Barkley will be in charge of Sea Venture and taking care of her while we're cruising. All right, let's go. Look at this.
This is amazing. Fall over.
So 5 p.m. we've got, what, 18 hours to go? Something like that.
Jim is filleting the fish. He has our harness on, so he's tethered in, because I really don't like him back here not tethered on.
And so there's our FLIR camera view out the bow of the boat. You can see how calm it is. We did go ahead and put the fish in the water. Just so it's easier to sleep and stuff in the dark, yeah. Makes it ultra calm. But
Good morning. It is midnight. I'm wrapping up my shift. Jim is getting ready to get started. We hit the 75-mile mark on our voyage of 140 miles, so we have a little 65 left to go. The weather's still been calm. Everything has been no changes from earlier, so nothing remarkable to report. There's absolutely nothing out there on the radar, nothing out there in the water's calm, so that is that. We're rounding Punta San Lazaro and making our way into Bahia Santa Maria. All right, hopefully we'll get him. We've been seeing a whale reach out here. Oh, there we go. Ooh, I'm trying to hold it still, guys. Look at him, wow. We're anchored in Bahia Santa Maria. The sun is setting behind those clouds that came in. We're tucked behind these beautiful mountains. And here's the view of the rest of the bay. Tomorrow we hope to spend more time ashore and check it all out. But for now, what a lovely night.